Welcome to Meet the Candidates, Spring 2016. We're delighted that you could all be here with us tonight. This is being presented by a collaboration of a number of entities, primarily Chamber of Commerce and League of Women Voters. League of Women Voters, for those of you who may not know, is a nonpartisan organization. It's desirous of creating an informed citizenry participating in the democratic process. Membership is open to all, both men and women, and there are a couple of members back there who would be glad to sign you up if you would like to do that before you leave. Primary election is actually underway now. I want to share some of that information with you. Early voting is going on the third floor of the courthouse. It will go on from April 5th through April 29th, that's Monday through Friday, from 9 until 4. Saturdays, April 23rd and April 30th, from 6 a.m. until 1 p.m. Monday, May the 2nd, 9 until noon. Beginning Thursday, April 28th, and running through Saturday, April 30th, there will be voting at the following locations, and this is in addition to the courthouse: the Cass County Senior Center, Logansport Mall, Walton Fire Station, Royal Center Town Hall, Galveston Community Center, and the 4-H Fairgrounds. And the hours for those days and those sites will be 10 in the morning until 7 in the evening. And then, of course, we have the actual election day voting, Tuesday, May the 3rd. That is the customary 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening. Those sites will be the Cass County Senior Center, the Logansport Mall, the Walton Fire Station, the Royal Center Town Hall, Galveston Community Center, 4-H Fairgrounds, and the 12-Mile Fire Station. I would like to introduce our panelists to you this evening. It would be your right, where I'm pointing, the first person there. We won't get into how we've got to turn around to decide whose hand it is Andrea Davis of Indiana's Best Radio. Seated next to her is Misty Nisley of the Pharos-Tribune newspaper, and Michelle Dials of Cass County Communication Network. We are also pleased to have WSAL broadcasting this live, and we have Greg Allen of Greg Allen Productions back there who is videoing. Within the week, you will be able to go to Cass County Online, and this will be available to you and anyone else who would like to see it in YouTube format. So if you've not seen yourself on YouTube before, this will be your opportunity. Our ground rules: candidates will have 2 minutes for opening remarks, 1 minute for closing remarks, 1 minute for answers. Candidates, so that you'll know when you come up here, on the corner of the table is a rectangular box. Has red light, green light. Timer is actually sitting over there. Wave to them, Andy. She'll be running that box. So obviously the green will be go. When you are down to where you have only 30 seconds left, she'll bring a blue light on for you so you'll know that you need to start wrapping things up. And then the red light will tell you that you need to stop. So candidates, do you have any questions about that? Because I did not review that with the candidates at the candidates meeting. Okay. Vanine, while I'm reading for a little bit, why don't you come on up? The first office that we are going to address is that of treasurer. And I'm sharing a little bit with you about what the law says about what some of these offices are to do. The treasurer is a constitutional officer elected by a vote of the county at large for a term of 4 years. They are prohibited from serving more than 2 terms in 12 years. The treasurer collects, retains custody of, and disperses county funds. The treasurer collects delinquent taxes, including the sale of real property for taxes, and is required on a daily basis to enter all judgments paid in the record maintained by the clerk of the circuit court. The treasurer collects local and state general property taxes for all units in the county, inheritance taxes, and tax on capital stock, deposits of bank and trust companies, and capital stock and surplus of building and loan associations. The treasurer is required to annually send each person charged with taxes a statement of the amount of property tax owed. Kathy Adair is one of the candidates for treasurer. She declined the invitation to attend and did not give a reason. Therefore, Vinnie Knight will not be taking questions, but she is being awarded her 2 minutes for opening remarks. Vinnie?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the Chamber, the League of Women Voters, Indiana Best Radio, Existential Media, and the Pharos-Tribune for allowing this program to take place this evening. It's informative, and everyone needs to be aware of what they're voting for. I moved to Cass County in 1980 when I married my husband, Bruce Ide. We have 2 sons. Clark is my oldest, and he is married, and he lives in Portland, Oregon. My youngest is James, who just recently moved back to Logansport and is starting a life here in this community. I have enjoyed being the elected official as the auditor. I've enjoyed serving Cass County. I'm currently serving as your auditor. I am now in the end of my final year. And I started working in the Cass County government building, and this fact kind of frightened me when I saw it, May of 1996. So I'm actually going to be in the building 20 years next year, and I can't believe that. I'm currently seeking the office of treasurer. I'm very sorry that the county treasurer, or the current treasurer, was not here this evening. I would have very much enjoyed answering the questions. What I will tell the constituents of Cass County, that if I am elected as your treasurer, I'll be a working treasurer. I will diligently learn my job and know what is expected of me as the treasurer. I'll serve the taxpayers with courtesy. I will keep my office open during business hours of the county government building. I'll answer the phones, I'll answer the messages, I will answer the questions when people ask them of me. I will very cautiously and wisely be diligent with the taxpayers' money. Starting with, I will go back to printing tax bills in-house and distributing them through the county instead of by a third party. I've enjoyed being the auditor, and it's been...
I'm sorry, we have time.
Thank you, everyone.
Would the candidates for auditor please come to the stage? The auditor is a constitutional officer elected for a 4-year term from the county at large, but prohibited from serving more than 2 terms in 12 years. The auditor serves as Secretary of the Board of Commissioners and County Council. Duties of the auditor as the fiscal officer of the county include keeping the county's accounts and issuing warrants for the payment of claims following an audit of the expenditure. The auditor is responsible for the tracking of all budgets for county expenditures, preparations of an annual report accounting for all the money spent within the year, as well as the balancing of all county funds with the treasurer on a regular basis. Publishing of claims must be done by the auditor in advance of the commissioner's approval of the expenditures. Now, this is not all, but the duties for auditor are in excess of a printed page. And so I wanted to give you just the first couple of introductory paragraphs so that you would have some idea about that. There is a 3rd candidate for auditor, Cheryl Alcorn. She has notified us that she is unable to attend. With us this evening are Robin Bancroft and Stephen Kane. Please remember to use those microphones, because it's not only a question of the people here hearing you, but of the radio being able to pick up everything. All right. Robin, you have 2 minutes for your opening remarks.
All right. All right. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Are we good? Okay. Thanks to the League of Women Voters. Thanks to the media. Thanks for being filmed on YouTube. It's all good, and I'm very happy to be here with all of you. Auditor. Why? Because I like budgets, because I like forecasting, because I like making sure the round things are in the round holes and the square things are in the square holes. This is a job, when I read the description, I thought, oh, I've done this. I've done this for the $32 million nonprofit in Los Angeles that I was part of. I was part of the development department, which meant I handled $100,000 checks kind of regularly and had to keep the books on that. We had grants, federal grants. I had to prepare reports for those. So I'm very much in tune with the auditor's duties in terms of record keeping and being responsible and responsive to the taxpayers. Because government is nonprofit. It's like any other nonprofit. Our money, our funding, comes from you. And so it's our responsibility to make sure that it's spent wisely and accounted for. Okay? As for who I am, I married into Cass County. My mother-in-law, Mary Ellen Buchanan Bancroft, was a Bradfield. I'm living in the 1856 Georgian brick home. That was her ancestors. They moved to California. I met my husband, Michael, there. We inherited the family farms. I came back here in December of 2014. I used to live in Riverside, California. I used to commute to Los Angeles. It was a 2-hour commute one way. I don't want to do that. I want to be involved in the community. I want to be involved.
Your time is up.
Excuse me. Is that the box you're referring to?
It is.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you asked that now before we get into the questions
Very
and so
much.
forth. Okay, Stephen, your opening remarks.
I am Steve Kane. I'm seeking the Republican nomination for county auditor. You may know me as a former school superintendent. I was superintendent here in Logansport for 11 years and 19 years in Ellettsville down by Bloomington. I've spent my entire professional career practically building budgets, managing budgets, working with personnel, and human resources that are required for the auditor's position. My wife, Sharon, and I have lived in Logansport since 1987. When I got a chance to return to Ellettsville down at Bloomington, we decided to retain our home here in Logansport, and so we have been back and forth, but we have never left Logansport. And during the time that I have been here in Logansport, I have served as county commissioner. I'm currently on the county council, and look forward to serving the individuals in this county in the auditor's position. It's a very complex position. Most people don't realize how complex it is because you have to deal with other departments in the county, and you need to be able to work with the treasurer very closely, and I think I can do that since I've worked with both the incumbent and the person seeking the office. Thank you.
Okay, we are ready to begin our questioning. Andrea Davis will ask the first question. It will be directed to Robin Bancroft, and when Robin is finished, Steve Kane will have the same question. Andrea.
Hello. Robin, what do you perceive as the most important aspect of the auditor's job and why?
The most important aspect would be accountability to the taxpayers, in my estimation. Now that obviously trickles down into all areas and duties that are assigned the office. But customer service has to be paramount, and making sure that your money is well managed is paramount. Obviously, working with the assessor, working with the treasurer, having a smooth functioning organization, you need that, because then you're not wasting the taxpayers' money.
Mr. Kane, same question.
The primary task of the auditor is to work with the county officials. We are the bookkeeper for the county. We are not the one that oversees the spending of the individual departments. We create the budgets as submitted, and then we have to manage those budgets to be sure they are being followed. The auditor is very important to the county council and to the county commissioners for doing their work as their secretary. Thank you.
Misty Nisley will be asking the next question, and Stephen Kane will answer first.
What experience do you have to assist the council in submitting a budget that doesn't exceed the max levy?
I've done this for over 30 years, working in the schools where we have to create budgets that cannot exceed the maximum levy, and I have experience as county commissioner building a budget there for that particular area, and also working with the county council. So I think I have the experience and the background to perform the task.
Okay, Ms. Bancroft, same question.
In a nonprofit setting, you always have the people bringing in the money, and you always have the people who are providing the services. Inevitably, there is managed conflict because people always want to give more services than there is money for it. And so I have dealt on countless occasions of having to say, oh, so sorry, but this won't work, and we have to bring it into line. And here's some solutions. You know, here's what I think, for better or worse, be creative with it. So I think I could very well manage the budget and support the council and the commissioners in this area.
Michelle Dials will ask the next question, and it will be directed to Ms. Bancroft.
What role would you play in ensuring that the process from assessment to collections to budgeting happens correctly and in a timely manner?
Well, communication is key. If all the players aren't communicating with one another, that's when you have problems. So I would make sure that my department was working in tandem with the other departments, that if there were any questions or any resolution that needed to happen, that it would be across the board. We would all be informed about it. As far as our internal management, I would make sure that the accounts were up to snuff as much as possible, utilizing computer support as much as possible, and making sure that the staff was trained and supported so that they could do their jobs properly.
Okay, Mr. Kane, same question.
Taxpayers recently got their tax bills, but those bills didn't really come from the auditor. The auditor had to certify the amount that was owed by each taxpayer, and the treasurer then had to issue the tax statements. And the assessor has the beginning job with the assessment of property, and that's how your tax rate is determined. I think that I've had enough experience working with various schools and departments and individuals that I can see that this happens. Thank you.
Okay, we are now ready for closing remarks. Ms. Bancroft went first with opening, so we'll let Mr. Kane go first with closing remarks.
I want to thank the media again and the chamber for hosting this forum tonight. It's very important that the taxpayers and the voters of the community be informed and make wise choices. I will do my very best to serve as auditor and manage the books, so to speak, for the county in the best possible way. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bancroft.
To me, an election is a very, very large interview. I'm being interviewed by all of you. If you have not received a business card from me, please make sure you have one. For those of you on the YouTube, I am on LinkedIn, Robin B.C. Bancroft, B-A-N-C-R-O-F-T, Robin, R-O-B-I-N. Look me up. My resume is here. You can see what I've done. You will know my qualifications. And if you think that I'm qualified to do this, then please vote for me and tell 10 of your friends to tell 10 of their friends. I'm excited. I would love to serve you. Thank you.
Thanks to both of you. This concludes the segment of the program dealing with auditor. We will move on to surveyor next. The surveyor is a constitutional officer elected for a 4-year term by the voters of an entire county. There is no restriction upon eligibility for re-election. The primary duties of the surveyor are to survey and keep records of all section corners throughout the county. The surveyor must supervise all civil engineering work of the county, including construction and maintenance of drains and ditches, highways, bridges, and culverts. In all cases, the surveyor serves as a member of the County Drainage Board and as a member of the County Planning Commission. Once again, there are other enumerated duties. We will not read all of them. Candidates are Jenny Clark and Josh Ladani. Jenny, would you begin with your opening remarks?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, and thank you to the Logansport-Cass County Chamber of Commerce, the Cass County League of Women Voters, and the media outlets for having me here tonight to share a little bit about myself with you. My name is Jenny Clark, and I am your Cass County surveyor and have been since 2000. I was born and raised in Logansport and reside in Cass County with my husband, Mike, a 26-year retired member of the Logansport Police Department, and my 3 children, Cassie, Jordan, and Caden. I graduated from Logansport High School and Manchester College. By virtue of office, I serve as an ex officio member on the Cass County Drainage Board, as well as the Cass County Plan Commission, of which I've served as president since 2010. I was hired by Lionel Billman to serve as a deputy surveyor in February of 1998. Now I am running for my 5th term as your Cass County surveyor because I know what is important to farmers and landowners throughout the county, and that is drainage. Without drainage, your yields would diminish, your property values would decrease, and that would affect each and every one of you in one way or another. My job is to help you maintain your county-regulated tiles and open ditches, whether that is clearing trees and dredging the channel of an open ditch, repairing a broken-down tile, or even a complete reconstruction of a drain. Being in the office for the past 18 years has given me a lot of insight to be able to provide you with the best service. From computer work and GIS programs to field inspections, I am able to handle it all. With only a part-time secretary to provide me assistance, I must work efficiently to provide you with the best service. Having completed almost $2.7 million worth of drainage projects in Cass County and another $500,000 to start this summer, I would say we are quite busy. I would ask that you consider voting for me in this upcoming election. There's been much accomplished in my office, but there's still much more to do. Let's ensure that these upcoming projects are handled efficiently and without interruption. And new projects can get started. I only had 2 more lines. Thank you.
Josh Ladani, could we have your opening comments?
Good evening, and thank you to all who put this on. I am Josh Ladani, 2001 graduate of Lewis-Cass High School, where I was a 4-year FFA member. I have been and presently serve on the Cass County 4-H Board of Directors, and I have been president for 3 years. I am a landowner, farmer, and a small business owner. I own Ladani Lawn Care and Snow Removal. I also worked for an excavating business where my duties were include of overseeing clearing and cleaning of ditches and tile repair. I say to you guys, if I am elected, I will not be outworked. I will be open for anybody, any comments or anything that is needed. Thank you.
Okay, we're ready for the questioning part. And once again, Andrea Davis will ask the first question, and it will be directed to Jenny Clark.
What would you describe as being the main issues facing the surveyor's office?
I think one of the main issues is staffing. We are only afforded a part-time secretary. A lot of my job requires me to be out of the office. I am afforded voicemail, which that kind of seems, I don't know, cliche, leave me a message. So I think that that's one of the issues, but really the main issue facing the surveyor's office is just the degraded tiles that are out there. They're over 100 years old, and these farmers are facing that every single day. They're facing that clay and concrete tiles that were put in the late 1800s, early 1900s, never expected to have a life expectancy exceeding 100 years. Reconstruction is very, very, very costly, and not a lot of farmers can afford to do that. However, that's the point where we're at in my office. Reconstructions take a lot of time, take a lot of my time, and we need a lot of help in getting those things put together. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of computer work to put those plans together.
Okay, you are out of time.
Thank you.
Mr. Ladani, same question.
The main thing I feel at the surveyor's office is drainage. As a farmer, the main thing you want is water off your fields. So you need to work with the farmers, you need to work with the landowners, because everybody is affected by drainage. Whatever they need, you need to be open to them. Yes, you can't solve all their problems, but you need to listen to them and see what their concerns are and try working with them as much as you can.
Okay. Misty Nisley will be asking the next question, and it will be directed to Mr. Ladani.
How can someone who is not a licensed surveyor successfully perform the role of county surveyor?
Well, you're going to be open to any comments and take any classes that you can take to perform a good role. I guess I know farming, I know drainage. I've been around tile, I've been around the excavating work, the replacing culverts. I guess you just got to, every job that you get in office, you don't know everything, and you just got to learn as you go. Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Clark, same question.
Indiana code does not require that the county surveyor be a licensed surveyor. Anyone obviously can run for this elected position. 18 years being in this office, I think certainly qualifies me for this position. I go to road school, I go to our County Surveyors Association meetings, I attend training, but on the job, practical experience and 18 years of practical experience is about the only thing that you can do to prepare yourself for this position. There's a lot entailed that's not on the surface. It's not just dealing with farmers and landowners, there's a lot more to that. Dealing with the auditor's office, dealing with the assessor's office, the treasurer's office, we're all intertwined. And I have a good working relationship with a lot of people, farmers and elected officials as well. So I feel it very important for that to be known that, it's not just having some letters after your name or something that really makes you qualified for this position.
Okay, thank you. Michelle Dials will be asking the next question, and it will be directed to Jenny Clark.
If elected as county surveyor and in order to lessen contractual services needed, do you plan to engage in any education or certification to improve your knowledge and/or qualifications for this position?
I attend training as often as I can and as much as needed to perform my duties to the best of my ability. To become an actual licensed surveyor requires a 4-year degree plus 7 years of basically an internship, or I suppose it's called an internship, where you have to work underneath someone. That's not practical for this type of position, as those really aren't the necessary requirements for becoming a surveyor. An engineering degree would help this position more than anything, with hydrology and things like that. And contractual services, I have zero budget in contractual services. So that's not really an issue that comes out of my office as contractual services. So I have zero. You can check my budget in the auditor's office. My line item is zero for contractual services. But I feel being in there for 18 years has definitely provided me the interest or the information I need.
Mr. Ladani, same question.
I feel that if there's any training possible I need to be at, or the surveyor needs to be at, anything that you can learn is a plus. Working with, even working with your local surveyors on anything is a plus. And you need to be, I don't know, anything that's possible to help you do your job is what you need to do.
Okay, we have concluded the questioning part of the program, and we're now going to go to closing remarks. Mr. Ladani, we'll let you go first.
If elected surveyor, I commit and promise you, as your surveyor, I will not be outworked. I will personally walk the ditches and tiles and see what the problem is at firsthand. The office will be user-friendly. I will be totally committed to you, the taxpayers. I will be available at any time. Anytime anybody needs to get something, I will be available. I will make sure we have competitive bids on all projects, big or small, to make sure to save the taxpayers money. I will attend every training session available. That way the county is on top of every option available to help the cost. I just ask you to support me and vote for Josh Ladani for Cass County Surveyor. Thank you.
Mrs. Clark, your closing remarks.
Again, thank you to the Chamber and the League of Women Voters and all of you here this evening and those listening for taking the time to educate yourselves about your candidates. Serving 18 years in the Cass County Surveyor's Office provides valuable experience and knowledge to be able to continue to provide you, the citizens of Cass County, the best service possible without delay. I am honest, I am trustworthy, I am detail-oriented, I have excellent computer and administrative skills, and I am passionate about helping people in whatever way that I can. I ask for your vote in this upcoming election to keep things flowing in the right direction. Thank you.
Thanks to both of you. At this time, we will move on to the County Council. The financial powers of a county are placed in the County Council, which serves as a check on the Board of Commissioners and Board of Finance. For election purposes, each county is divided into 4 districts with 1 council member elected from each district. In addition, 3 council members are elected from the county at large, thus making a total of 7 council members. They have numerous functions for which they are responsible. They are to adopt the annual budget after estimates are submitted by various county agencies through the county auditor. They have a non-binding review of the annual budgets of other government agencies. They fix the tax rate for county purposes. They impose a tax levy. They make appropriations to be paid out of the county treasury, incur county debt within constitutional limits, appropriate additional funds that arise after the budget is adopted, reapportion surplus funds that are surrendered by one department of county government to another department, transfer balances in dormant funds to the county general fund. They fix salaries of officers, deputies, assistants, and employees whose salaries are payable from any county fund. County councils have the authority to fix the number of deputies, assistants, and other employees whose salaries are payable from these funds. They levy taxes to provide funds to erect new jails, repair, remodel, and enlarge old jails, furnish financial assistance to any community mental health center and other developmental disability center located in the county at a prescribed tax rate. Now, once again, this goes on for another couple of pages, so I've tried to share with you the main bullet points. Our candidates are Stacy Donato. I'm looking to see if you're in alpha. Oh, you are good. You're in alphabetical order. All right. The school teacher in me is so pleased. Chuck Liddell, George Stebbins, and Tracy Williamson. So we will begin with our opening statements. Mrs. Donato.
Thank you. Thank you all for preparing, hosting, and coming to this evening's in this beautiful spring evening. We could all be outside, and I'm humbled at the turnout on an 80-degree night. We have a delicate campaign that we're running regionally, and for you to be interested in county is exciting to me. My name is Stacy Donato, and I'm asking for you to re-elect me to the County Council. My parents are Terry and Janet Collins. My dad was the band director at Logansport-Cass High School for over 20 years and has had businesses in Walton for over 30 years. I graduated also from Logansport-Cass and Ivy Tech at Grissom Air Force Base. I'm married to Jim Donato, and you may know his family well as a car dealership in Logansport for 50 years and a restaurant prior to that. He was born and raised here, and we currently live on the west side of Logansport. We have 2 children. Our daughter graduated from Logansport-Cass and Purdue University in the School of Nursing. She's married to Derek Shannon from Monticello originally, and they have a new 3-month-old baby that you've all now officially seen. They too live in Logansport. Our son AJ is going to graduate from Logansport-Cass in 34 calendar days, 24 classroom days, in case you were adding. He is enlisted in the Army National Guard and will be shipping out immediately after graduation for basic and AIT. Then he plans to attend Purdue University for religious studies and join the ROTC. Ultimately, he will be a chaplain in the U.S. Army. I've told you all this for one reason, to let you know I have strong roots in Cass County. My parents, my deceased in-laws, obviously felt very strong and passionate about placing their family here, living here, growing here, and having their business right here with you. I am trying to instill those strong roots into my children and my future grandchildren. I'm attempting to pass that wise judgment down to them. They may leave for a while, especially in AJ's case, but when asked, Logansport-Cass County, Indiana is where he's going to call home. And if you have, are, or will be serving in the military, home is a passionate word. So this brings me...
Mr. Liddell, your opening comments?
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming out. My name is Chuck Liddell. I'm a 1987 graduate of Logansport High School, a 1993 graduate of Purdue University. I've been a lifelong resident of our wonderful county and have deep roots here as well. I've worked for Logansport Community School Corporation all of my professional life, 23 years as an educator. 16 of those years spent educating 3rd graders, and the last 6 years have been spent working with alternative kids at Two Rivers Academy, housed at the Family Opportunity Center. I've also coached both at Logansport and Pioneer. I've been an IHSA wrestling official for 28 years, so I've been on all 4 of the county high school's gym floors numerous times on Saturdays. I attend Walton Christian Church, and I have 2 wonderful children. My daughter Maddie, a 2015 graduate of Purdue University. She's currently the event planner at the Rich Charles in Indianapolis. Grant is my son, and he's just now completing his sophomore year at Purdue University. And like both his mom and dad, he wants to return to Logansport and educate the future by being an elementary school teacher. While I'm new to the county side of government, I am an experienced government official as I served 2 terms on Logansport City Council. During that time, I worked closely with the county government. I think that's one thing that we have to do is work together, city and county, since it all is our money in our community. My goal as a member of the county council is to help maintain fiscal responsibility. That's job 1 as a council. I want to look at projected revenues prior to doing budget. I don't want to have to cut $750,000 after we submit our budget. My reputation as elected official has been to do my research, to stand firm on matters of principle, and to be responsible and accountable for your money. If elected, I will continue to do that for the wonderful people of Cass County. Finally, I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce, Cass County League of Women Voters, and all the members of the media and Ivy Tech.
Mr. Stebbins, your opening comments.
Hello, I'm George Stebbins, 52 years of age. I live in Logansport, northeast of town. I've lived here since 1976, a graduate of Logansport High School, and attended Indiana University at Kokomo. Had small business owner here in town. I have East Main Mini Storage and also have Kilgore Avenue Storage in Muncie, Indiana. I've been married to my wife for 23 years, Penny. We have 1 daughter, April. I've been currently on the Cass County Council for 6 years, and I've been president I'm working on my 5th year. During my time there, this is the I'm seeking my 2nd term on the council. Thank you.
Mr. Williamson, your opening comments.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Williamson. I'd like to thank all of the media representatives in Ivy Tech, the Council and League of Women Voters for having us here this evening. I think it's an important event. I am not originally from Logansport or Cass County. I chose to come to this county. I moved up to this town to take a job which I think is one of the best jobs in the world. I am a teacher at the Logansport Juvenile Correctional Facility. I've taught literally everything that we teach there. We run a regular high school, accredited just like every other school in the state, and more accreditations actually because we are under the Department of Corrections. I currently teach in the vocational program, telecommunications, copper cabling, and fiber optics. I take boys that society has given up on. We lead them to a graduation, a high school equivalency, and then I give them a high-tech certification recognized worldwide in the telecommunications, copper cabling, and fiber optics industry so they can get out and get a real job, put the crap behind them. I am in my second year at the council. I was put into the empty position when Jeff Ladani got elected to commissioner. I am very blessed to be working with the council and serving the people of Cass County, and look forward to continuing in that task. Thank you very much.
We'll now enter the questioning phase. Andrea Davis will ask the first question, and it will be directed to Stacy Donato.
Is the current level of spending for county government sustainable? If not, how or should cuts be made and where?
It has been my experience in almost 4 years that there are always cuts that are given to us after we have submitted the budget, and we do our very best with the funds that are given to us to spread the pieces of pie, so to speak.
Give Stacy a little more time. We need to get a microphone over to her. Yeah, I need to move those back and forth because I realized people back there could not hear her.
Okay.
Would you like to have the question?
Yes, please.
Let's just start the clock over for Stacy now that she has a microphone, and would you give the question to her again, please?
Yes. Is the current level of spending for county government sustainable? If not, how or should cuts be made and where?
It has been my experience in almost 4 years now that there are always cuts when the state bring the budget back to us, and we sit as a finance committee and select very carefully where we have to cut each budget. And it is my hope that they will be sustainable and we will not have to do any more than what we've already done. We've been able to pull out a little bit. And so I think we're on a positive field going forward.
Okay, we probably ought to, yes, keep moving those microphones back and forth. Mr. Liddell, you get the same question. Would you like to have it repeated?
Yes, please.
Is the current level of spending for county government sustainable? If not, how or should cuts be made and where?
One of the things I think is most important, and I have had experience with in the city, is to not only look at what you are afforded, but what your potential revenues are, because what your assessed value is doesn't always mean that you receive all of those dollars. So you have to take a look at your trends and make sure that you don't spend everything you're allotted, because you're not going to receive that. With valuations going down, that means that our tax revenues are going to go down, and there will have to be cuts. I haven't looked at the county's budget to see where we're at as far as what those levels are, but you can't spend more than you're going to bring in, and that's what I will make sure doesn't happen.
Mr. Stebbins, same question. Do we need to do any microphone adjusting there between you two?
No, I think I'm good. Could you read the question one more time?
Yes. Is the current level of spending for county government sustainable? If not, how or should cuts be made and where?
Well, it's clearly not sustainable. I mean, this year in the budget with some of the stuff that was done, we did move some more to public safety, some more into our certified shares, and we still had to come back and cut $750,000 because the net assessed value dropped 15%. We had been dropping 5% a year. I suspect to see another 5% drop again this year, because just looking at my tax statements, you know, my assessed values on about everything did go down. So we need to look, and cuts need to be made everywhere, and I wanted to make cuts and not just move to the rainy day fund, and that's why I was the only one to vote no to move all the what we needed to cut to rainy day.
Mr. Williamson, same question.
And so I don't get left out, let's read the question one more time, please.
Is the current level of spending for county government sustainable? If not, how or should cuts be made and where?
I agree with George in that as things are going, no, it's not sustainable to continue to spend more and more when values are going down. And if we do need to make cuts, we need to look very closely at each and every budget. I think it should be across the board. Everybody gets a share of that cut in order to maintain the spending levels that we need to, so that one budget doesn't get chewed up any more than another.
Misty Nisley will ask the next question, and Chuck Liddell will be the first person to answer it.
In the fall of 2015, the current Cass County Council approved both a 2.6% raise for elected officials and department heads and a $3,000 raise for all county employees. The stated purpose of the raises and stipends was to keep Cass County employees from taking identical or similar positions with other counties for more pay. If elected to the council, do you feel this is an effective and sustainable retention plan, or do you have a different retention plan?
We do have to be competitive. We have lost employees both on the city side and the county side to other areas that are paying a better wage, and everybody has the right to look out for themselves. So what we have to do in order to keep this plan in place to support the raises that we've had is we have to become more efficient in our money. And one of the things that we can do to become more efficient is to work collaboratively with the city of Logansport and eliminate some of these duplications of services. One of the things that really sticks out in my mind is the amount of money that we're paying in this community for economic development. We have 3 different economic development heads, and that is not efficient use of taxpayer money because they're all funded by us. So that would be one of the things we could look at, collaboration of services so that we're saving some money.
Mr. Stebbins, same question.
Repeat the question, please.
In the fall of 2015, the current Cass County Council approved both a 2.6% raise for elected officials and department heads and a $3,000 raise for all county employees. The stated purpose of the raises and stipends was to keep Cass County employees from taking identical or similar positions with other counties for more pay. If elected to the council, do you feel this is an effective and sustainable retention plan, or do you have a different retention plan?
Well, we needed to keep our employees. As for the stipends, where they went, a lot of those departments were not the ones that we were losing people. And that is the reason I voted against the stipends, because those were positions that those people weren't leaving. We had problems in other areas, and yes, we do need to give raises, but at the same time, we have to keep our budget in balance. And the raises is part of the reason we're in the shape that we're in at this moment. I was personally wanting to give half the raise this year and then do half the raise next year and see where we were at so that we weren't, but I was overruled on that.
Mr. Williamson, same question.
Repeat the question, please.
In the fall of 2015, the current Cass County Council approved both a 2.6% raise for elected officials and department heads and a $3,000 raise for all county employees. The stated purpose of the raises and stipends was to keep Cass County employees from taking identical or similar positions with other counties for more pay. If elected to the council, do you feel this is an effective and sustainable retention plan, or do you have a different retention plan?
I think it was very important that we compensate our county employees for the work that they do. We had fallen behind the area, and Cass County had become a training ground for a lot of people to get the skills needed to do the jobs and then move on. I don't look at Cass County and think, oh, this is the minor leagues. I think we've got good quality people here. I think they need to be compensated for the good quality work that they do. Is it sustainable? It will be sustainable because that's the kind of work that we're willing to put in to keep our good people.
Mrs. Donato, same question.
That's okay, I got it. I did vote for the increase in pay for the very reason that I have, in my professional life, knowledge is power, and power is smart. I'd rather work smarter than harder. And if we have them trained in their positions, they know what they're doing, we're going to be more effective. Therefore, the dollars that are spent are going to be more effective. I am more than willing to sit and work very hard to keep those raises in place and try to make cuts if necessary in other areas because I believe in their raises.
Michelle Dials will ask the next question, and it will be directed to George Stebbins.
And it's a long one, too. Each county has a local option income tax, or LOIT, and the county council can increase, decrease, and amend this tax rate. Currently, Cass County has the 6th highest local income tax rate in Indiana at 2.5%. This tax rate can be a deterrent when competing against other counties for economic development opportunities. What plans do you have in regards to our local income tax rate to help us become more competitive with other counties in Indiana?
Well, currently, we haven't been changing it at all. The local option income tax rate has stayed the same. Part of that local option income tax rate goes to public safety. Other parts of it goes to the property tax replacement credit, that the credit you see on your property tax bills. And then also part of it goes to, I can't think what it is right now. But between those, if we cut, it also goes, if we cut those, the problem we're going to run into is we're going to be short on funds because right now we have a problem balancing our budget. We have no intentions of raising the wheel tax or any other tax at this time because Cass County does have the wheel tax almost at max on everything except for farm equipment.
Okay, Mr. Williamson, same question.
Repeat the question.
I was going to say, I'll bet you'd like to hear it again, yes.
What plans do you have in regards to our local income tax rate to help us become more competitive with other counties in Indiana?
Nobody likes taxes. Nobody likes to raise taxes. They call it, it's just a bad thing. Everybody hates taxes. Tax season ended today. What plans do I have for the current situation? I don't want to see them raised, the local option income taxes. We need to work more efficiently with what we have. That's the plan that I have. Work more efficiently with what we have.
Mrs. Donato, same question.
What plans do you have in regards to our local income tax rate to help us become more competitive with other counties in Indiana?
I think there is a value in every dollar, and because a portion of those taxes go to public safety, we need to consider what's like in our house at night. If you come from Cass County, there are issues, we all have issues, but it's a safe place to raise your kids. It's a safe place to raise your grandkids, and there's a value in that. And I believe in our public safety, therefore, I believe in it.
Mr. Liddell.
One more time.
Sure.
What plans do you have in regards to our local income tax rate to help us become more competitive with other counties in Indiana?
Well, in order to foster economic development, we have to lower our tax rates because we're up there in more than just the LOIT. And so that's something that we're going to have to do to bring industry so that our assessed value will rise. In order to do that, I think that there's so many duplications of services that we could look into combining, like we did the E911, that would save the taxpayer money As a member of City Council, I was in support of having one fire station take care of the county, and I was one of the supporters when that fell. Now we have a tax rate, and as a county resident, I pay a tax rate for fire department. We have a duplication of services when literally one fire department drives by the other one if my house were on fire. So I think we have to go back and look at things like that, and we can look at public safety and see how we could, possibly combine some services with Logansport Police Department, Cass County Sheriff's Department, because that's where the majority of that money is going. And again, we're the 6th highest in Indiana. That's substantial.
Andrea Davis will be asking the next question, and it will be directed to Tracy Williamson.
What will be your funding priorities if elected?
Funding priorities by elected back to council is public safety. There you go.
Mrs. Donato.
I'm on board with that, public safety.
Mr. Liddell.
I'm going to go with, maintaining the raise that we have for our public safety, especially for our sheriff's department. We need to keep that rate where they are. I know that we've lost deputies there, just like the city has lost several police officers, again, as Cass County becomes a training ground for other people. So we have to get those wages where they're competitive with counties of our equal size and service. So.
Mr. Stebbins.
Well, public safety is a big issue for Cass County. Our sheriff department does a great job with the funds that we give him. Over the years, we have worked really close with Randy on trying to get the deputies' pay up and also the jailers' pay up. So the public safety is one of the big things we work at, and also getting a balanced budget.
We are now ready for closing remarks. We'll begin with Tracy Williamson and work our way back down the line. I haven't omitted anyone, have I, with it? Oh, I thought I saw a look on someone's face, and I thought, oh dear, I skipped someone. Okay. Mr. Williamson, if you'll begin with your closing remarks.
Again, I appreciate the opportunity for all of us to be in here and share with you our thoughts on this election. If given the opportunity to continue on county council, I will serve the taxpayers honestly, diligently, and with a very conservative look at how the tax dollars are being spent, so that we don't waste the tax dollars that are given to the county to use. There have been a lot of arguments over the years between the county and the city, and a lot of money has been spent in lawsuits where a little bit of communication, I think, would have served us better. Thank you.
Mr. Stebbins.
I want to thank the League of Women Voters, the media, Cass County Chamber of Commerce for giving us this opportunity today. My name is George Stebbins, and I would appreciate your vote in May. Thank you.
Mr. Liddell.
I've been a school teacher for 23 years, and my class, whether it's been 2nd grade, 3rd grade, or alternative education, has been the CAN-DO class, and that stands for common sense, active listening, nice, determined, and organized. I plan to be a CAN-DO Common Council member or County Council member if elected. I will be approachable. I will work together with all the people that make up the county government so that we can make the best use of your tax money. I'd like to encourage everybody listening and out in the audience to please get out and vote in the primary, and make sure you do your job and get out and vote in November, because we have had not good turnout in Cass County. I'm Chuck Liddell, and I'd appreciate your vote come May.
Mrs. Donato.
As a parent and grandparent currently raising children and grandchildren in this Cass County, I am going to do my very best that I can to make positive decisions with my fellow councilmen to make Cass County the best place to call home, maximizing every tax dollar that we have to better the whole, and working together with the city and the corporations to make sure that all revenue coming in can come in. Thank you again for being here this evening and hosting this event. Please consider me as your representative for Cass County when you vote on May 2nd. My name is Stacy Donato. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you. We would like to thank all of you in the audience for coming this evening and all the candidates who took time to be here. We'd also like to thank the panelists down here for giving us their time, the radio, Greg Allen, Bill Cuppy with the Chamber for the leadership that he provided. And a reminder, Election Day is Tuesday, May the 3rd. You have a lot of opportunities to vote between now and then. Thank you and good evening.